Hello, Little Egg Harbor families. Melissa McCauley, superintendent here. The other night, we had a very successful Meet the Candidates night. I'd like to thank the PTO for that. There was some information that was shared that I would like to review and clear up some misconceptions that may be out there surfacing on social media or throughout the community. As always, we appreciate everyone coming out, and we do appreciate the fact that people are coming to run for board seats. That means they want to be involved. But as always, I do want to make sure that accurate information is out in the community. So I'd like to take a few minutes, and I will also be including some information from Mr. Baronato, our assistant superintendent, and Ms. Lichtenwalder, who is our special ed director. So first, that all learning takes place in the classroom, and yes, our teachers are an integral part of our day-to-day function. They're amazing. They are the front line to our students, but there is a lot more that goes into the educational process, and I'd like to review that with you briefly. One of the most helpful resources I have found to explain to families in terms of what goes on here day to day is the NJ CUSAC resource. So this is the tool that is used to monitor school districts, and it really shows everything that goes into the daily operations. So first is instruction and program. And that is where we are finding out about student performance, and that is based on the instruction in the classroom, but it's also about graduation rates, teachers forming goals for the year that administrators have to review, chronic as absenteeism that the administration handles, aligning curriculum to state standards. Our curriculum is reviewed by our supervisors often, our assistant superintendent. It is created and adapted and modified in the summer often, where teachers come in and they're given parameters by the administrators, and then they sit and they write their units, and then they share that with their team. And then we also have to provide a tiered system of support, and that is run by the administrators as well. And that's where we put into place differentiation. We might have students that go through the INRS process that need more assistance. So this is all monitored under the instruction and program in CUSAC, and there are 16 indicators that we're monitored on. Next is fiscal management. There's 15 indicators we're monitored on, and this is really where Mr. Brown and Mr. Yates step in, and they have to create standard operating procedures for the district. We have to get audited every year in terms of our books. We write grants, we have capital projects, we have to have a facilities plan in place to ensure the safety of our staff and students. We have annual safety reviews. There is an analysis of our fiscal cash flow, and that's where we might have our state funding or the tax levy analyzed. And then we have to employ a certified facilities manager. So this is where Mr. Cole would come into play, and he is required under NJ CUSAC. If we didn't have him, we would not score high enough for the NJ DOE. There's governance, and that's 14 indicators. And that's where we have to align our curriculum with state standards. We have to oversee the budget process in terms of student achievement, and is that aligning? We have to update policies. There's many policies that are required by the state that we have to make sure that we have, are modifying, and are implementing. We have to review all administrative contracts and all contracts that come in the district, and this is something done by the administrative team. Operations, there's 18 indicators. We have to make sure that we're implementing the policies correctly. We have policies on such things as attendance, tobacco use, HIV, harassment, intimidation, and bullying. We have to look at our student data system, transportation, health, counseling, and guidance services. And these are all things under operations. And then lastly, we are scored on personnel, and there are 6 indicators. We have to make sure all of our teachers are highly qualified. We have to support our new teachers, and that's something that I personally do after school. I meet with all the new teachers at least once a month. We have to promote the quality supervision. As administrators, myself included, we do many observations throughout the school year that are formally required, as well as we do walkthroughs to provide that formative instruction to our teachers. And then we have to make sure that we're in compliance with things like criminal background checks and a lot of personnel issues. So, those are just some of the things that we have to do on a daily basis, as well as managing phone calls, talking to parents, dealing with student issues, and dealing with staff issues. So, that is clearing up something with that. It was mentioned that there is too many administrators and something about the assistant superintendent position. Please know that that assistant superintendent position used to just be called something else. It was a director of curriculum and instruction. We no longer have the director. It is now the same person and with the title of assistant superintendent. And I know we've gone over this many times, but if you look at some of the charts we've reviewed in the past, this is 2015 and this was 2020, we are actually down administrators. We have a lot of shared services to save money. We have less bodies, and we still have the same amount of observations and evaluations, and we actually have more students now. So we are doing more with less. We are now dealing with COVID and a lot of things with that. We have a lot of requirements that have to be given to the state, the county, and a lot of mandates. I already went over CUSAC. And if you look at our administrator to student ratio, we are much higher than most school districts. So a lot of our surrounding school districts have many more administrators in terms of that ratio. So please, you can look into that. Something was mentioned about, taking the chains off our teachers. Please know that that is not the case. Our teachers have the autonomy when they're in their class to teach the manner in which they choose to. We are all required to follow the state standards. And as I said earlier, the teachers write those units and they write the curriculum that is then transferred into the classroom. So we give our teachers the freedom. If they need help, we provide professional development to them. But at no point are we saying, you are not to teach this, and we all have to follow the state standards. The method in which they deliver that does vary from classroom to classroom. If you want to see our classrooms, please make an appointment with the principal or myself, and you can come in and see that learning is taking place. The teachers are amazing. They're happy. The students are happy. And it's just not accurate to say that we are chaining anyone down. Um, the regionalization of small schools. I know that this is at the forefront of this. We have a lot more meetings and a lot of information is going to be coming out. But the one thing I want everyone to take away is that those small schools, if they were to participate in regionalization, would stay small schools. So they would still be in the same building. They'd still have the same teachers, the same administrators would be there. Nothing would change other than we would be one district with one budget and one of other things, one student data system, one audit firm, and there's a savings there. But they would still maintain their small school feel. They'd still walk to school if they walk to school. What would change and what you don't see is that a lot of the students that would go to those schools with special needs come to Little Lake Harbor, and that school pays tuition to send them. So they would no longer pay tuition because those students would be our students anyway. So there is more information that should be disclosed, and parents could ask those questions. And we have the autonomy to put into the plan. We do not want that changing for X amount of years. We want them to be in that building. So please ask questions. Please, call me. Many parents have talked to the principal, come to a meeting, but ask questions about regionalization before we say it's a fad or it's not going to work. It's going to save a lot of money and it is better educationally for our students. Another thing I wanted to point out was there is no fluff in our budget. Our budget is a very challenging process every year. We do not want the burden to be on the taxpayer, but we have to provide a sound education for our students. We do put the money back in the classrooms. As of July 1st, $512,000, $226 was spent on materials for classrooms, which includes books, leveled readers, rugs, furniture, materials to teach with, anything. That money goes into the classroom. When teachers ask us for something, we find a way to give it to them. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. We often send surveys to teachers. We participate in their professional learning communities and we hear things that they need X, Y, and Z, and we find a way to get it to them. If you come into our classrooms, you'll see for yourself there is an abundance of supplies and technology in every classroom. So the money is going back in the classroom. And then the last thing I want to talk about is parent and community involvement and board meetings. We hold an array of parent meetings via Zoom, in person. We have done strategic planning in the past. We had a great turnout. We try to do it again this year, and the in person turnout wasn't going to be very good. So we're doing it online, and we seem to have a great interest in that. But we have tried many, many ways: Facebook Live, Sit with the Soup, special ed meetings, curriculum meetings. We live stream them. We do anything we can to get parents involved. We do surveys, as I said earlier. And then the board meeting formats, what the public has to understand is that's a meeting for the Board of Education. It's not for public back and forth. It's public comment on the end where public can comment on things, But when the public has questions about the school district, they should already have been asked. The public should be reaching out to teachers, to administrators, to me, and asking those questions. The board is there for a board meeting where they're going to approve things. And a lot of that work has already been done behind the scenes where they were given information to review, where we've had discussions about this policies or procedures. It's really a check and balance for the school district. It's not supposed to be a back and forth with the community. That's where other meetings are held. Parent nights, sit with the soup. We had a standard Bates grading night where you can comment on the report card. But that board meeting is for the board to have discussions with each other and to hold board business. So there is a little bit of a misconception with that. If people came out to board meetings more often or came to parent meetings, I think they'd have a better understanding of the way the school district operates. But you're always welcome to ask questions, email, text. The administrative team are taking emails from parents 24/7, weekends, holidays, and I can assure you that's happening. We are here to clear up misconceptions, so please ask questions. As I said, I'm very happy people are coming out to run for the board, but we're hoping it's for the right reasons and that there's not misunderstanding in the community. That's all I have for now. As I said, please reach out and you're going to get some more information from Mr. Baronato and Mrs. Lichtenwalder. Thank you.